welcome to another edition of Goa 365's Assembly Audit. Now, we've had a longer session after quite some time this time, and 3 weeks are up. This is the fourth week, beginning of the week, and the session is going to get over this week. We have a very senior panel here, which I'm sure will not agree with this particular statement of mine, but then, okay. In my opinion, and we've been watching the assembly, this has been a good assembly. Lots of points have come up. There have been Takkar, very good. It has to be seen. The opposition has done a good job, starting with the senior MLA from Goa Forward, Vijay Sardesai. But even AAP, like Venzi and all, they have put in effort. Congress, everybody, I'm not saying. Just the government, many times, even though there are only 7, has been put on the back foot on many of the issues. So before I continue with my monologue, I would like to first introduce the panel and then starting off with Ashley Du Rosario, senior journalist. Ashley Bab, welcome to our show. Siddharth Bab Saman, advocate, analyst. Siddharth Bab, welcome to our show. Durgadas Kamath, vice president. General Secretary, Goa Forward. Sorry, Durgadas, you don't come on our show too often. Welcome to our show. Valmiki Bab Naik of AAP. Valmiki Bab, welcome to our show. Ashley, small brief of what has happened in these 3 weeks and like what you think, and given I think many of the side shows have sometimes gone more than what's happened in the assembly as such.
Yeah. The verdict of the High Court on the Tiger Reserve has overshadowed the Assembly and influenced the proceedings of the Assembly for sure. As far as the Assembly proceedings are concerned, we've already had 3 weeks, and the one stark observation that I have to say on your show is the vastly improved performance of the opposition. There is better coordination among the different fragments of the opposition. In the initial 2-3 sessions, we saw a very disunited opposition. But in this particular monsoon session, we see better coordination among the opposition members, improved performance individually by all the MLAs, very hopeful sign, especially among we know that we have a 7-member opposition, out of which just 1 is an experienced member. The remaining 6 are all first-timers. So, especially from the first-timers, vastly improved performance in this session. They have done their homework well. Of course, there is scope for improvement, further improvement, but the improvement is visible. As far as the ruling side is concerned, mediocre, except perhaps just one minister who has got kind of appreciation in the House from the opposition as well. That is the WRD minister, Subhash Shirodkar. If you keep Subhash Shirodkar aside, I think all the other ministers have not come up to the mark in their performance, legislative performance. And I would like to make a comment on also the speaker, because he is the guardian of the House. And all speakers have, in the past too, have been biased towards the party they belong to, which should not happen in the conduct of the House. But the level of bias of this particular speaker, Ramesh Tabatkar, is more pronounced. By his actions and his rulings, allowing and disallowing certain resolutions, certain proposals of the opposition. For example, in this particular session itself, I think it was in the 2nd week, where he permitted the resolution moved by Daji Sarkar on that BBC documentary and all that, in spite of it being sub judice in the Supreme Court. Okay, and then last week he disallowed the resolution on a discussion on Manipur on the same ground, that it was sub judice in the Supreme Court. So the bias is visible. In that sense, it should be avoided. I mean, a little bit of bias towards the ruling party by the speaker who belongs to the ruling party is, acceptable, understandable. But as far as rules of the house, business of conduct, violating them and taking decisions in favor of the ruling party is unacceptable. If the speaker uses his discretion, he has discretion beyond the rules. If he uses the discretion in favor of the government, is acceptable. But when you violate a printed rule of the rules of business and conduct of the house to favor the government, then it has to be criticized. It has to be called out and it has to be criticized.
It's been happening even at other levels, I think, even at the national level. So we'll discuss that a little later. Sawan Bab, I'll give you first thing on this before I bring in Durgadas.
Yes, that is what, in fact, as far as Manipur is
because
concerned.
You are a lawyer also and sub judice.
No, as far as Manipur is concerned, we categorically discussed it for a long time. At that time also I had said that, of course, in
BBC was discussed.
Correct. So therefore, what I said that that's one point which needed to be discussed even otherwise. Because what better opportunity would a government get to present their side of a story? See, it is better that it is discussed in assembly. Otherwise, people will discuss it on streets, which may not be very good. You have seen there are one or two unfortunate statements which were made, and they were discussed on street, and you see the consequences of it. Instead, if it was discussed in assembly, a better and a matured discussion could have taken place. And in both there would have been opportunities for opposition to raise the issues which could have been answered. In any case, at some point of time, even at the center, they will have to be discussed. There is no other option. There is no other option. So therefore, that's one aspect of the matter. And as far as that is concerned, in fact, I would not have been surprised if BBC documentary would not have been allowed to discuss, because that's the point. Because I don't see any reason between for discussing that issue in because that's something which has been banned by the government, and that's why it was more appropriate that either or take a situation where they both could have been discussed together, one after the other. What could have happened? If ruling side wanted one particular discussion to go ahead, and if opposition wanted, either you allow both or you disallow both. So it could have been done in either side. If you wanted to allow, you could have allowed both. If you wanted to disallow, you could have allowed this.
It's slightly different because BBC has been banned. So
Correct.
Manipur is burning.
So correct,
Yesterday, one of the majority committee, a huge mob looted an armory. So and took so many thousands of weapons which are being used today, and 6 people were killed. It's still happening.
Correct. So that's why it was more important to discuss.
I think
by not allowing it, you are allowing issue to go out of hands. Then the questions comes about the credibility and the allegations against the government is, what is your interest in not discussing it? What is that you have to hide? All those things, all those answer you have to answer more intensively when such a discussion is not.
We'll bring in Durgadas. Keeping Manipur aside, a lot of issues that have come up in the assembly. Okay, of course you are free to discuss Manipur. I'm not going to stop, but I'm just saying, Durgadas.
See, there are a lot of issues की 3 week कशे गेले हे आमकां कळुकूच ना. कारण इतले ते मागीर एक्सायज स्कॅम जावं, PWD जॉब स्कॅम जावं, फॉरेस्ट फायर्स जावं, मागीर GI फंड, नॅशनल गेम स्कॅम, कला अकॅडमी स्कॅम, टुरिजम प्रॉपर्टीज स्कॅम, हाऊ इट वॉज अलॉटेड टू फेवर पीपल, एरियल बंच वायर जे आसा ताजे स्कॅम, वेर इन द रुलींग MLAs themselves demanded एन्क्वायरी into things, Kamdenu, how the scheme was tweaked, Dhyan Foundation in name of Go Save, all these which our MLA exposed on the floor of the. So there were various issues, online casinos, Sri Lanka advertisement. So there are vast issues. So म्हाका दिसता आनी 2 weeks सुद्धा करीत न्ही, म्हणजे इतले issues हे सरकारान केले फाटले in a short period of 1.5 years की people are fed up. म्हणजे आयच्या दिसा जर परिस्थिती जर election जायत, they are bound to go home. But then it's a long thing. We have to work for another 3.5 years, unfortunately. But being a mute spectator will not work. Entire opposition has taken them head on. All 7 of them have worked, and head on. They have checked the government on each and every issue. And as Ashley said, I think apart from Subhash Shirodkar, whose reply during the demands, seemed to be matured and bit this, the government is exposed completely on the floor of the house on various issues, and they didn't have answers. So it was like, captain abandoning the ship, the team, and team not cooperating with the captain. This is the current scene on the ruling side, and actually it's benefiting the opposition who are trying their bit. They might be small in number. I mean, म्हणतात पण सदात की quantity doesn't matter, quality matters म्हणून. 7 of them are they're trying their bit to take on the government and expose whatever they can and bring it to the public domain, which is appreciated from people from Pedner to Kankund. And it's not only that ki आम्ही cater करना, आम्ही सगळे section of societies cater केला, whether it is pilot wallahs today to activists to social activists to power sector people to students. The major thing was of the students, wherein when we raised the issue of the students, there were approximately 20 students sitting in the gallery with the bus issues. So these are a barik and in many of the issues we were successful in taking assurance from the government. Now only thing is, after the session we decided we will start writing to the government on these assurances, and we will see that these things are implemented in the benefit of the people. So follow up करून बऱ्या कामा करून घेऊंक जाय. You have to get the work done from the government, and expose karpa. This is the role of a constructive opposition. And Goa Forward, as a Goa Forward and others also, we are playing a role of a constructive opposition in this session, and we will continue to do it in the remaining next 3 monsoon sessions.
Okay, yeah, Valmiki Bab, what he said is right, but also you have to appreciate the government has given assurances. Now it's up to the opposition to ensure that those assurances are implemented. I don't know, that's what I feel. Yeah, but Valmiki Bab, what is your take on this?
To the credit of this government, this is the longest session that has happened since its formation last March. Even the last monsoon session, they announced certain number of days, then they curtailed it. So
because of COVID, some reason.
No, Panchayat elections.
So we know that this government does not want to answer. They don't want to show their faces in the assembly for too many days. So to their credit, all 18 days, have happened or will happen hopefully. They had some plans to waste one day on Rajya Sabha election, to bring a BBC documentary discussion on one day. So the opposition checkmated them on the Rajya Sabha because it was a foregone conclusion. So we said, let us not waste time. We want to discuss issues of Goa, which was a very good thing. So in a way, so that would be the positive side of this assembly session. Negative side, I think, building up on what Ashley Bab said, was that this party has a brute majority, or this government has a brute majority, 33 out of 40. In this case, it shows what your character is. Either you become dictatorial or you become democratic. Aam Aadmi Party has a government in Delhi since 2015 with brute majority. The majority was given to us by the people. We have not purchased MLAs. Okay, people have given us that brute majority. And I'll tell you, last year, the BJP MLAs, which have been reduced to like first 3 and now 8 they wanted to bring a no confidence motion in the assembly against our government. Because we have a brute majority, and they did not even have the number of MLAs required to bring in this motion of no confidence. We said that we will support your no confidence motion. We allowed them to bring in this motion. I think this is the first time in history it has happened. We allowed them to bring in a no confidence motion against the rules of the House, and they were able to speak their heart out. That is called democracy. We also have a brute majority, but we did not dominate or do dadagiri in the assembly because of a brute majority. What Bharatiya Janata Party has done, you saw on the Manipur issue, throwing out the entire opposition, which is already such a minuscule number, throwing them out completely for 2 days, that was completely dictatorial. And I think your newspaper itself had a wonderful editorial the next day after this issue happened, where they said that now under BJP, the opposition, like the tiger, has become an endangered species. And now we need to bring a project opposition like Project Tiger to save this species. So hats off to your group for raising this issue. It is a serious problem today for India as a whole.
Fair enough. Yes, absolutely.
I'll just add quickly
Yeah,
to it.
sure.
ताने म्हणले की they tried their best. You can't trust them to want to complete 18 days. Assembly was supposed to start on a Monday. They deleted one day, citing Amavasya as a day. In Hindu thing it's inauspicious म्हणता आम्ही. पण तांचो देव तांच्या बरोबर ना. त्या दिसा कला एकदा मी पडली. But see, the day they wanted to escape from a session, that day we got a session outside the house. आणि कला एकदा मी पडली. and which the minister, tried to say that no, it was not, they didn't touch that area and all, but then wherein we placed the CD on the floor of the house, wherein on November 8th, minister himself had visited that place, the work was going on. So we produced the proof. After that, then, government was forced to say that before the session ends, they will place a report. Now that IIT Roorkee has, they have lifted their hands up, so I don't think so even the report will come up. Anyways, my matter was today in the High Court today.
On the issue.
On this issue today, 7th August. It has been posted after 2 weeks for final disposal. And hopefully...
What do you expect? What do you want? Not expect. What do you want?
See, accountability has to be fixed. Kala Academy was
Something
built
we
for
have
4 to
discussed
5
in this
crores.
also, yes.
And now it's touching some 80 crores. And I have produced all the documents. And there is nothing, we are not targeting any individual as such. We cannot allow criminal wastage of funds. Responsibility has to be fixed. And today the matter came up, and I think it is, as per my lawyers, it has been kept for hearing after 3 weeks for final disposal. So we hopefully before Ganesh Chaturthi, we will have some good news for the people of Goa.
I don't know if it's good news. I think it's
No, the judge.
The way Kala Academy is you're supposed to start for in December Christmas gift. Yeah.
No, minister has on the floor of the house said yesterday during the demand.
Which minister now? No,
The art and
really
culture minister has clearly said that he cannot give a date when it is restarting. When he was counted at the end of the day on the demands or the other day.
But also the PWD minister, he says that the PWD minister is responsible. But then I don't know what's happened about the PWD inquiry. How can you inquire against your own people? You are a supervisor, PWD is doing inquiry on how it fell. That is very funny. It should have. Dudar, I know we will disagree on this. It has to go to CBI or anything else. But the PWD is not an investigative
I'll add quickly.
You cannot supervise the roads of Goa.
One of my prayer in this is that we have demanded for a CBI inquiry.
I know.
In this matter.
I'm aware of this. No, I didn't. The issue is that we have been arguing on this channel about inquiry of PWD inquiry. He's saying there is no locus standi. We say there is. So I don't know. Wait. I'll allow you. Ashley, sorry.
Yeah, so inquiry, see what happens is...
Yeah, you also agreed with him, I forgot.
You pointed out the fact that you cannot inquire yourself.
Yes,
but
against yourself.
What was done that day by the principal chief engineer was a preliminary inquiry that you have to do.
Not yet, it was supposed to come next day, not
whatever.
Yet,
it's a preliminary inquiry which is in the possession of the government. The outcome is in the possession of the government, and that's compulsory, because when you are in possession of a particular property and it collapses, you are supposed to upkeep that property, and it collapses. You yourself has to first know why it has collapsed.
It's for 14-15 days now. No
they have not made it public. They already.
But no action has been taken as yet.
We don't know. We don't know.
We'll question the government on the final day.
Apart from that, whatever work the PWD does, which is above 50 lakhs, the quality control comes under rights.
Right. Yes.
What is rights doing?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so this has been an issue that has been coming up for the last 15-20 years. Rights was brought in.
Both of you all have MLAs in the house. You also bring it up.
Rights was
You also have.
Rights was brought in somewhere in the 90s.
90s, yeah.
Okay. So
no, MLAs. I'm talking about MLAs.
So I think that there needs to be an accountability of rights as well.
Of course. Find out where it is.
Now this question of rights came up in the house last week, and Nilesh Kabral, who is the minister for PWD, agreed that the performance of rights is not up to the mark, and he took it up with the central rights leadership, and they have changed the entire team that was sitting down in PWD. The entire rights team is changed. Now you have a new rights team.
Good or bad?
Let's see now.
Okay.
Let's give them a carte blanche to perform. They have to come in, right?
Okay, before we continue,
Yeah.
I want to go in for a small break, and then we will So this was interesting. I know it was short because whatever reasons, but we will continue after this short break. Though we will be saying bye to our colleague, to the representative of Goa Forward on this panel, Duradas Babu. Thanks for joining. Thank you, and keep watching Goa 365.